Mark your attendance. Right. Okay. I would like to apologize to those group discussion teams that planned their GD for yesterday. I think a couple of teams I had to cancel at the last minute because I had a meeting. So those teams, please plan their schedule for today, tomorrow. Let's close it. Uh, by today, tomorrow, or maximum by this week. Once we finish that, then we have the interviews to be done. So I really suggest let's push our boundaries and then try and close it by this week. Okay, so the teams must bring a new schedule to me. So I'll check if I am uh, available during the time. Well, we'll have to discuss that and then finalize a schedule between today to tomorrow, maybe maximum by day after. All right. So in the past few days, 3 to 4 days, we've been discussing the interview questions and trying to understand how best we can answer those questions. What I suggest now is to stop and then think what direction we should take from now on. We have a lot of questions that we can keep adding on, but there'll be one dimensional approach, which is not a wrong thing, but I would want your opinion, your suggestions, your thought process on should we go this way, or is there any course correction that we have to do. I mean, the direction of me taking this course, if we need to change it, I want your opinion on that. And if you have a difference in terms of how this should go, please suggest that also. We'll take that into consideration and decide on how to proceed further. Unless otherwise we do that today, it will be too late for us. So I leave the floor open for a few minutes so that you can come up with your own approach that we need to have from now on. So go on. If you have some opinion, please share. Guys, the question is for you guys. Please answer. Okay, what we are doing right now is for cracking interviews. I mean, because we are specific in terms of what are the questions that will be asked and how to answer them, the GD thing, the resume. This is especially for the interviews, focused on interviews. But then to handle these questions, when you're answering, we need those soft skills for us to do it better. Uh, in terms of soft skill itself, that requires classroom setup for us to be effective. That's my opinion. But I guess we won't be doing that anytime soon due to the current COVID situation. Let's see how best we can utilize our time and do soft skill, which is useful beyond the interviews, right? So that's the idea. That's all. That's something which I have in my mind as well. But that depends on which class I get, who selects me, and who wants to be part of my course. So all these things are there. So once it happens, then we'll delve into that. We'll find out other means to do the activities. Okay, so we have to end up doing that. But as of now, this particular course is concentrated on how to crack the interviews. This crash course, our regular courses during the college sessions, right? That will be more into um, soft skill activities. So we'll deal with that then. But this crash course, it's predominantly towards interview skills. It's never over, Karthik. But then yes, we have to move. But you guys have to tell me what else we need to focus on. Again, if I have to choose, I might not choose what you really require. So I really want you guys to open up and give me few suggestions so that the next few sessions we can concentrate on that. If you obviously immediately we won't come up with such suggestions. I'm just opening the debate here. Take your time. Even after this session, you can come up with suggestions. Send me a message. We'll try and address those things in the coming sessions. Right? If you have any opinions now, you can share. That's absolutely fine. Just that it's just not during this session. You'll have to provide these suggestions. Even after the session, you can send me a message and then we can take it up. Harita, there is nothing called a mock interview per se. The one that we will do, right? Once we start the interview sessions after the GD sessions are over, we'll be doing interviews. I'll be questioning, and everyone will have their own sessions to answer them. So everyone will have their interview sessions. The difference between a normal interview and a mock interview is you'll be less nervous during a mock interview. I think because there's not much that you will lose if you do it badly. Okay, it's only the learning, it's only an experience. Whereas in a normal interview, if you end up not giving your best, you may not get the opportunity to work with them. So that is the difference. But then otherwise, it's just interview. Um, we are just practicing to answer the basic questions that's going to happen in mock interview. We call it mock interview, but it's still an interview. So I don't see there is a much of a difference. Interviews are interviews, right? So I'll be asking questions and you'll be answering. That's all it is. Trying to get better. That's all we are planning to do. So the difference is at the end of the mock interview, you're not going to get a job. Okay, that's it. Anything else? Why don't you ask me interview questions as if you are the interviewer and I will be the interviewee, giving the one giving the interview? Why don't you ask me anything? Any questions? So you want me to ask and you guys will answer? Okay, I'm fine. But individually, are you guys ready with it? See, the reason why I'm not doing it is we may not have the continuity. Um, we have already planned for this, Karthik. We are going to do that. In a couple of days, we'll start that. Okay, we'll start interviewing. Every individual will be asked to go for a session of interview with me. I will be questioning and they'll be answering, and that is already being planned. Let's not get into that right away now, because we may not be able to continue that throughout the day. I want this to be an experience where we start something in the morning and we continue with that for the next few days, and then close it out. As of now, we are still in the middle of finishing up the GD, and I don't want to mix both right now. Because of a reason that I have, I don't want to share right now because it won't be fair on you. Just let's wait for a couple of days and then we'll start that. We're definitely doing that, Karthik. Okay. All right. So can you please do and tell me about yourself now as an example? Okay. Sure, Kishore. Why not? So if I'm going to be the one who's answering, tell me about yourself. So this is how it's going to go. All right. Thank you for the question, Kishore. To start with, my father used to live in a place called Vadalur. He still lives there. He was working there, and hence I spent the entire childhood, entire school days in Vadalur. But then I was born in Madurai. That's my native, but Vadalur is my hometown. That's where I grew up. I did my school in a place called Neyveli. The school name is Jawahar Higher Secondary School. I did it. My entire school was there. It was one of the fond memory that I have even today. The friends, the environment there, the classrooms, and everything I remember really fondly because uh, we don't have such commitments then, and it was those days where technology is not like today. So the bonding between friends was in person, not exactly on the phone. So that is something which I cherish during my from my school days. But then once the school was winding up, I was given a choice of choosing between an engineering and arts and science. It was very hard for me to choose one, but then my parents surprisingly preferred me into arts and science. So I joined St. Joseph's College, Trichy, uh, and I entered myself in the physics department for my undergraduation. Um, it was it was I was of my opinion then that I was forced to join physics, but actually I was given a direction, and I didn't think that it was my choice. Then it was forced is what I thought, but then later on I started enjoying a little bit, but at the same time some of the um, courses offered in physics was little hard for me, but I enjoyed few of them. It was it was a mixed feeling for the 3 years. Once I was done at the end of my graduation, I decided that I should move away from science. I should be doing something in the administration side. So the obvious choice was MBA. I got into MBA in Chennai. That was the first time I started living in Chennai. That is a huge change in terms of the attitude people shared here. In terms of the language spoken, everything was totally different, and it was really hard at the start because I was not very good in my English speaking abilities. Then it took a lot of effort from myself and my group of friends that we had, uh, who also faced a similar issue. So we collectively approached this issue, and over a period of time, we tried to overcome this problem in terms of the language ability. By the end of MBA, I decided to do a project, do my MBA project in advertising. So yes, HR was not my first choice. I wanted to get into advertising. So I did my MBA project in uh, a famous ad agency called Lintas. Um, it was it was an amazing experience working there. I did the market research for a product there, so I had to meet a lot of people. I had to be on the streets to get the market research and the questionnaires done. So that was a great experience. But you don't know what life throws at you. At the end of the project, I was given an opportunity to work for Lintas, but then that was in the sales side. But then I wanted to get into the creative part of advertising. I even spoke to them, but then I didn't get that opportunity. So I had to find my next interest from my MBA, which is obviously HR. So I started my career. It's been a while. I've been doing HR. It's been 12 years to be precise. I've grown a lot in terms of being a HR. I started as a recruiter, and then I slowly entered into the other gamuts of HR. For instance, employee engagement, employee relations, grievance handling, and also the other aspects in terms of generic HR, which was handling salaries and benefits, the gratuity, and all those areas I was handling. So, yes, if you ask me, my strengths in terms of what I bring to the table will be on employee relations and employee engagement. That's where my strength lies, and that's something which I would love to carry on doing. I'm also interested in terms of training. So training is something which I picked up in the last 7 years. I'm getting a lot of opportunity to get into training also. So these are my interests, and these are the skills that I possess, which I thought I should share during the conversation. This is how I will answer, Kishore. Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, why not? See, the reason it was long was I'm giving information plus I'm giving reasoning for almost all the information that I'm giving. So I gave an information about physics. I told why I joined. Did I enjoy it? Okay, what was my experience? I did give that. And then my other, next information was about my MBA. I did give a little bit about why I chose MBA, and even though I didn't dwell too much into it, but then I gave a little bit of hint about what was my challenge. I know how I faced the challenge, and how did I see the reason why I'm giving this bit of information beyond the basic information of I did MBA here, there. I'm giving the challenge that I faced during that period and how I overcame it. So this bit is very important. I'm giving this because I have faced challenges at various stages of my life, and I have handled it, right. And how did I handle it? This is how I handled it. I got help from my friends. We formed a support group, and we are targeting our issue in terms of language skill as a group, and we overcame it. That is a positive that I'm providing. So when you say all this, it takes more than 2 minutes. That's fine. Okay. What if they stop us in the middle? How should we react? If they stop, you should stop, right? There is nothing that you could actually do. They'll stop and they'll start asking questions, which is absolutely fine. That's what I'm saying. See, this is a tactic that they will use. Otherwise, they are really bored. It could be either. So we should only consider that they have stopped because they got enough from us for that question, and they want to move on because they have a lot of other candidates waiting. So that could be the idea behind it. It's not negative all the time. It could be negative too, but it is not always negative. And okay, for us, only college life is there to share. So the conversation will be short I think so. Yes, Kishore, you're right. What? One second, ma. Before that, Kishore has written a question. What is the area of specialization? As I said already during the tell me about yourself explanation, I was pointing out that I did my MBA in marketing, which was into which I chose because there was advertising. Then I had to choose one more option between information or finance and HR. I chose HR. So I thought that is where my skills then were. So that's the basics. Yes, ma'am. Proceed. Never do that. No, no. Don't give your name when you start for tell me about yourself. The reason is when you walk in, okay, when you meet them, when you greet them, when you give a handshake, or when you talk to them, even in the phone, you will first thing introduce yourself. Okay, you will give your name. That is absolutely fine. You don't have to repeat your name when you start tell me about yourself again. Please don't do that. That is very juvenile. A lot of people make a mistake there. A lot of people advise you to do that, but don't do it. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Nothing else? Okay. Again, I'm repeating. Mark your attendance for today. Don't forget about that. And then please get your teams ready and finalize a schedule between today, tomorrow, maybe day after. We'll have to close it by this week. Okay. Okay, that is a question. So in case of this pandemic, if all interviews are through online, how do we perform this? How? Okay. Uh, See, it is going to be online for sure, at least for the next 3 4 months. That's going to be the idea. Um, Online, then it is even more difficult for you to share your, thought process. Maybe you'll be less nervous. Okay, maybe you're alone, you're not surrounded by people, so that way it's an advantage. The nervousness will be less, but at the same time it is really hard for you to express, because when you're in person, the facial expressions, the gestures that you make, the body language will help you a lot. At the same time, it could be a negative as well for those who are nervous. But on the phone, on the if it is through online, the ability to communicate in terms of the body language, in terms of the non-verbal communication, drastically comes down. That is going to be a challenge. So you will have to find, practically how to present yourself in terms of the online mode. What is the position of the laptop or your phone? How will you sit in front of that? Those things are very important. You will have to understand which chair to use and all those things. These are practical difficulties you have. In terms of answering, I don't think there is anything much you could do, except that your tone and tenor, try to use that for your advantage. Try to, when you're talking, try and have the smile, then and there. Without that smile, it will be more monotonous. அப்ப நீங்க சிரிங்கன்னு கேக்குறீங்களா? Yeah, possibly yes. But these are the things that you should do. Try and emote a little bit, and your nervousness will not be much. That's what I think will be the difference. That's actually in an advantage for you. Yeah, why not? We have done that. We have done it in the past as well. But then we would like to meet in person for a fresher. But then since the situation doesn't allow us to do that, we don't have a choice here. But then why not? Telephonic interview, or they will ask for such video conferencing interviews. They won't go for telephonic on the on call interviews. They will definitely ask for video conferencing. Anything else? Okay. If nothing as of now, we can continue tomorrow. But again, I'm repeating, please mark your attendance. And those who have not given their GD, plan it between today, tomorrow, and day after. Okay. If you know any video call interview, share with us. You're talking about any link or whatever. Kishore, are you talking about any link for any such example videos? Then what are you asking? Oh, okay. All right. Sure. 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 Right. If there is anything and nothing more, we will meet tomorrow. So remember attendance and GD. We'll have to remember these two things for today. Yeah. Give your attendance. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, you guys.